We think we live.
Okay, get ready. In 10. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited that you're on your after evening drive on your way home. You had a great day at work today. It was a great day for me, an exciting time that we had today, just enjoying life. And I'm just excited to have had the opportunity to be in Jacksonville this past weekend. And it was a wonderful time. And it's just good to see some of the old folk that we've been long acquainted with. And we're back up here in South Carolina right now. Bishop's moving around, grooving, and enjoying life. And so we're just thankful that you're on here with us today and that you're hungry for information that can help you become your own bank. Be your own bank. We have a lot of wonderful things that is happening with our organization. We're just happy that you are seeking information today. Today we have with us Tasha M. Dyer. We have with us Dr. Craig Bythewood and Gerald D. Rogers, our visionary. We're just so excited that they're taking the time to give to us information that can change our lives. Ms. Dyer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hello, hello, hello to our listening audience. Hello, hello, hello. So for everybody that's out there, Rejoice 904, hello. And let me tell you all in advance, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, right? It's the time of the year where we want to celebrate our families. So definitely. And celebrating here, right? Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're streaming in from, let me tell you all, hello, hello. And if you're on Facebook, it's BYOB Movement Worldwide, our page. But also on YouTube, obviously, it's BYOB Movement as well. So let me say hello to everybody, our colleagues. We have, and I'm Bishop. I'm leaving you last for a reason because I'll be back. But Mr. Rogers, hello, Dr. Bythewood. But I'm going to talk about you, Bishop, because you were in Jacksonville and didn't say anything, but I'm not going to say anything, even though we were in Memphis. So I'm not going to say anything, but, we're going to let that slide. We're going to let it slide. Hello, hello.
Well, I know you were in Memphis, in the Memphis area there, and a real friend of mine told me that you were going out of town, but hey,
real friend. I caught that.
They told me you were going out of town, but I did see it on Facebook. You're sitting at the airport, looking concerned about the pilot. So we're glad that God answered your prayer. Mr. Rogers, how are you doing today? So glad that you graced our presence today.
Thank you so much, Bishop. We're excited about this broadcast. Rejoice 904 listening audience, rejoice904.com. We're excited to be here. Big shout out to the Bishop himself, our colleagues, the trade whisperer, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, the finance doctor, Dr. Craig Bythewood. And hey, I want to be the first, for our listening audience. We want to honor our Bishop. We're thankful that God has preserved him as he's getting ready to embark upon another revolution around the earth. And that's this coming Friday. So for those of you who feel led to sow a seed into the man of God's life, you definitely want to do that. And you're going to be able to, we're going to share some information on how you do that. But we salute you, Bishop, because I'm excited because I know the journey that you've been on, and, the enemy attempted to just challenge you health-wise 2 years ago, and just to see you recover. I'm just thankful and grateful that, we're in partnership. And so I salute you.
Amen. We're thankful for that word. Mr. Rogers, a colleague and a great friend. We really appreciate that. Dr. Bythewood, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Miss Dyer. Don't take that personal.
I
am. To our Rejoice 904 listening audience, it is so wonderful for me to once again have the opportunity to greet all of you. I am so happy to be joined by my esteemed colleagues, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, the trade whisperer, Mr. Gerald D. Rogers, the visionary, and Bishop Harold D. Rollinson, who is about to turn 33 years old on Friday. We
Oh,
just really
wonderful man.
appreciate. There it
That
is.
came
There it
from the
is.
doctor. He knows what he's talking about.
That's right. I can do the math. So I would like to just say to everyone, we wish you a wonderful pre-Thanksgiving season. And I always teach my children to operate in now energy. So let's start being thankful, appreciative, and grateful right now as we have an opportunity to have this wonderful conversation. Welcome to our broadcast.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone, we want you to know that we're just elated that you took the time, that you're taking the time to listen and to hear information that we want you to share with everyone. Now we have a topic tonight, this evening, that we want to talk about. Since we're around the Thanksgiving season, it kind of reminds us of some areas that we perhaps hadn't quite been thankful for. And one of the things that I thought when we found the scripture for our consideration this afternoon, I thought about Gerald Rogers and Tasha M. Dyer and Craig Bythewood, and the time and the energy that they freely give to individuals, and individuals take advantage of it, cash out, and disappear, and never say thank you for the enlightenment. If you don't want to participate in the organization, at least you walk away with information you didn't have prior to being introduced to be your own bank. And we find some lepers who Jesus healed and didn't take the time to turn around and tell the Lord, thank you. And so we want to consider that this afternoon as Ms. Dyer reads our scripture for us. And then we will proceed with some questions and some thought-provoking conversation that would allow us to be reminded to be grateful for information. Ms. Dyer, can you read?
Yes, I can. It says, as Jesus continued on toward Jerusalem, he reached the border between Galilee and Samaria. As he entered a village there, 10 men with leprosy stood at a distance, crying out, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. He looked at them and said, go show yourselves to the priest. Go show yourselves to the priest. As they went, they were cleansed of their leprosy. One of them, when he saw that he was healed, came back to Jesus, shouting, praise God. He fell to the ground at Jesus' feet, thanking him for what he had done. This man was a Samaritan. Jesus said, didn't I heal 10 men? Where are the other 9?
Exactly. Now Jesus was expected to have somebody come back and just say, not just one, but it was 10 of these guys whose lives were interrupted by sickness and disease. They could not associate with their families. They lived in caves and in the cemetery is actually where they lived. And leprosy was a kind of disease that you would lay down to sleep one night and wake up, and when you pick your head up, you would leave your ear perhaps on the pillow because it was eating away at the skin. And so it was a terrible disease that limited your ability to associate with other people, limited your ability to do what other people normally do, get married, have children. All those possibilities were gone because of the sickness that they had. And so this was a major life-changing event for all of these individuals when Jesus saw them, and it was just a cry, have mercy on us. We are sick, heal us. And Jesus gave them the information, and on their way to see the priest, they were made whole. And one of them noticed that he had already been made whole before he got to the priest. He fell down on his knees and worshiped and thanked God for the miracle that had taken place in his life. And there no doubt have been individuals who we met in this process of doing this business who were in some terrible situations economically, without hope, without being able to participate in the American dream. as other people did. And because of this information that's been shared, it has changed their lives. And somehow the spirit of ungratefulness has overtaken them in the process. You know, people volunteer to give you information 68 times a month. Is that right? 68 times a month. And you fail to take advantage or show appreciation by just your presence and your appearance is a strong message. Jesus said, where are they? Where are the rest of them? I know they might have been thankful, but they at least could have showed up and said it. I'm still here. And so we just want to tell you guys, thank you for your time and your energy that you put into BYOB. And the results are there. They speak for themselves. And so we just want to make sure that we take the time to say thank you for all that you do and for all the time that you give toward teaching people how to be economically free. Miss Dara, thank you.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you. You know, I just, and thank you in the chat as well. Thank you all that are chiming in.
Wait a minute. You about to, Bishop messed you up, because at first you thought he wasn't a friend, but you about to get all teary-eyed.
He said he wasn't. But
he had a surprise for you. I saw he just completely disarmed you. You was lost for words, Miss Di. You don't even know what to say now, do you?
Well, you know it's Bishop. So Bishop always have a round for me. So so I'm gonna let you go then. How about that? You go first.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, thank you, Bishop, because, when we first started this journey and coming up with this concept of being able to have this platform and take this information and put it in the hearts and the minds of people, it was always our intent to serve people. And I'm just thankful that, God is so saw fit to bring all of us together to be able to create an environment that for those who are willing, they can receive this information. And for us to know that, here we are coming upon the Thanksgiving season. I'm just tremendously grateful that God would even see fit to use us to be able to change that economic dynamic of individual personal households, their places of fellowship, their communities, and knowing that really, truly, the best is yet to come. We started out this year, 2021, declaring that this was the year of transformation. And there's been a lot of transformation in the lives and the hearts of people. And so I'll ever be grateful as well to my colleagues, my business partners, to say thank you to them as well for each and every one of you for, embracing, catching the vision and understanding that, working together, it's bigger than any one of us. So I'm thankful to all of you as well.
Well, thank you, sir, for the vision and allowing God to use you to give the vision and write it down and made it plain. So folk all over the world are able to run with the vision. Are you ready to talk now, Ms. Dyer? Are you okay? Are you ready to cover it?
I'm very good. No, but thank you as well. I just, when you really think about it, you don't do it for the things, right? You don't do it for people to come back. We're here to serve. And literally, I had a few conversations today, yesterday, over the weekend, and, the gratitude that's expressed, the lives that are being changed, the things that are happening from a personal development standpoint, because our minds is what's going to elevate us. Like our minds is what, really presses us forward. The trading is easy. The trading is the easy part, but it's the mindset that we have to develop in order to press forward. And so what this movement is about, the heartbeat, is really so we are not in that culture shock, that culture shock that somebody cares, that culture shock that, just that culture shock that we can evolve and we can actually do this together. And so, the change in people's lives, that's the things that I'm normally, that's what I'm normally looking for, is that transformation. Somebody feeling empowered, somebody feeling like you have hope, because that's ultimately like what you just said. How many people's lives have been changed who never had anything before? How many people couldn't see, still make those statements? Well, how you doing? I'm just living day by day, right? We have to get past the living day by day. We have to live for more than just, getting stuck in a routine. And when you see someone come out of that, when you see someone for everything that's transpired, like when you really see someone making a shift, then the reality is that that's where, we ultimately like really feel empowered. You know what I mean? Like that's where that shift and that change happens. And so to actually hear the thank you, that, as Dr. B would say, that's the icing on the cake. So I'm very grateful, to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dr. Bywood, thank you for the words of wisdom after each training you give us on the late night. Because anything after 10 is late night for guys who having birthdays like mine, and so we just want to say thank you so very much for drinking all that coffee and staying up. And we can see the excitement in you from perhaps the caffeine. And so we're just thankful for all the wisdom that you downloaded into us over the past couple of years. Thank you so much.
Go to coffee right there. I got you.
Bishop Harold Robertson, I really do appreciate that sentiment. And I share in the philosophies of my colleagues that individuals like us, we don't do it for the thanks. And if you think about it, the three of us probably never even thought about that great point you made until you made it. And it reminds me of when Miss Dyer is training. And she oftentimes talks about chasing a trade. You don't want to chase a trade. You want to let it come to you. And gratefulness is sometimes like that. Because when we're chasing thanks, when we want to be thanked, that's the time when oftentimes it doesn't happen because you're chasing. But when you're operating in a servant heart and you're doing it because of the love of doing it, watch what happens. Like Ms. Dyer said, you do get individuals that come to you and sincerely say thanks. But two things about that. Number one, we have to recognize that oftentimes they're being spokespersons for the other individuals in the collective consciousness who feel that way, but may not say it. My daughter said this to me yesterday. Dad, I was telling the truth because I put my pride to the side. So that was the issue to her, not right or wrong, growth or expansion, it was pride. So sometimes individuals are feeling thankful, but it is their pride rather than their lack of gratitude that happens. So here's the key. If these people are feeling gratitude, but yet are not operating outside their pride, here's what happens. I don't know if anybody remembers this commercial. It was an insurance company that had a commercial that debuted on the Super Bowl that showed someone doing something kind to someone else. And then they turned and did something kind for someone else. And then they turned and did something kind for someone else. So oftentimes the thanks is unseen. The thanks is invisible because the person who is grateful but prideful will go and treat someone else the same way that you treated them. And that's the real beauty of having a servant heart. And that's what this movement is about, and so glad to be a part of it.
Thank you, Mass Bishop up now, Dr. B.
He's on mute. You're on mute, Bishop.
I gotta get him back.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Dr. Knifewood. There's a thing we say at the church house, each one teach one, And so when we get this valuable information, the best way you can show thanks to the Lord is to teach somebody else, share somebody else with somebody else the good news that we just heard. It's like the woman at the well, come see a man. And it's absolutely amazing how people can get this information, and when it comes and look across the table at someone else, or across the desk, or across the room at someone else who we know need this information, and for some reason we won't share it, or we assume they're not interested. And I know very few people who are not interested in bettering their financial situations, especially in these times that we're living in now. And so what is it that makes an individual get this kind of valuable information and refuse to share it with somebody else?
Ooh, fear. I mean,
Fear?
that makes them refuse to share with anybody else.
I mean, the good news. I mean, you found out that there's something good over here, and it's good for your neighbor, and you won't tell your neighbor about it. You know your neighbor need it.
Selfishness, fear. It's just so many things, not really understanding the value and the power of who they are, you know, how someone's life could be changed. And the crazy part about that statement is the reality is we share things all the time. You know, it's just in our human nature. You ever been around somebody that talks and just talks and just talks? I got to tell you about my day. I got to tell you what such and such did. You know, when I pick my daughter up, I got to hear about what her friends did. I have to hear about what her friends' moms, parents do. You know, we have to hear all of those things. So we're always someone who is sharing. Where'd you get your hair done? I'm sharing that. You know, where'd you get that outfit? I'm sharing that. We don't even think about it. But for something so life-changing, you're right. Why not? Why aren't we sharing this? Why aren't we rally cry 2 million strong from the rooftops? You know, and you're sharing those Black Friday deals, you know, that's going to put us in a position of being the ultimate consumer. You know, you think about what's transpiring on Friday, other than your birthday, right? The reality is people are excited about being able to shop because last year they couldn't do it. So they're excited about going to be the ultimate consumer. They're excited about, you know, spending money. They're excited about that. And they're sharing those things. You know, they're literally sharing those things. And so at what point do we step outside of ourselves and say, you know what, it's always like that though. When it's the good news, the gospel, when, you know, it's just think about it. People do that. The gospel, something that's going to change somebody's life. You know, somebody, the BYOB, something that's going to shift somebody's economic stability, you know, the economic empowerment, the economic justice, the economic freedom that this brings. Those are the things we keep to ourselves. But I will tell you how to go spend some more money and get in debt and how to swipe your credit card one more time.
Yes, it is a mindset. It's absolute mindset that you said it earlier. The mindset, we have to change our mindset about the kinds of things that we feel are vital, that people know, you know, because some gossip we hear sometimes we think it's almost burning us. We got to hurry up and tell somebody. We'll call 4 or 5 people till we get somebody on the phone to share that gossip. But our mindset has to change and say, well, this kind of information is vital that somebody hear this. It's vital. There has been an urgency to share this kind of information. And so it's so very, very important. Mr. Rogers, why people won't share this kind of information?
Well, I think 2 things are happening. And as we look at, you know, it from a perspective of what we would call the 4 stages of learning. And that first stage of learning is unconscious incompetence, when you don't know that you don't know because you don't have an awareness of things that are not around you. So that's why it's important, you know, even when I think about, you know, this verse of scripture, you know, when it was 10 lepers, you know, they were diseased and they came to the solution, but all they were concerned about was their natural states, and they didn't appreciate the source. It was the source that was giving them the ability to be healed. But because they were completely unaware, they didn't know that they didn't know. And sometimes, you know, our environment produces those type of things. So it's very important that in individuals like you, Dr. Bythewood, and Ms. Dyer, when we have the grace necessary to understand that's the reason why it's so important that we have to be able to see people where they are, see them as a finished product at the end and not where they are, because even things that are far beyond our comprehension, it's very important that at least one of us take the notion to get the information, take it back to places that have not received the information, and realize that it's an evolution, that people grow into that state. But we need to be made aware from a maturation standpoint. When we identify those behaviors and traits, we have to understand that they simply don't know that they don't know. So I stand in agreement with Dr. Bothwood. It's not necessary that they're not aware, that they don't want to, but that level of maturation in that specific area, they have not evolved to. So that's where we must extend the mercy and then stay there. And we must be consistent in our outcome so that when they do return, they'll know. And then at some point, they'll grow into that acknowledgement of being thankful. And that's really what this season is all about as well. We're talking about the Thanksgiving season, because there are a lot of things that we just simply take for granted on a day-to-day basis. I mean, the mere fact that we're breathing and living, there's some people who didn't wake up today. And so we just have to always posture ourselves in that perspective and realize that some people just don't know that they don't know, but the only reflection that they're going to exemplify is what we disperse in their lives and in their hearts.
When you think about mindset, one of the things as you're speaking, I'm sitting here thinking about it, because like I said, we get so accustomed to sharing so many different things that's, not beneficial to us. But if I go back to my childhood and some of the things that I heard, and this is some of the things that, Bishop, that we are up against. It's not that you're not telling me thank you, but why won't they share? Why won't they do these things? For some people, I know it's unreal. When I go back to my childhood and I think about some of the things that I was taught, I used to dream about I used to not just quote unquote things, but not having to be concerned, about anything financial, right? So I used to always, my mother was terminally ill, single parent, I'm the oldest. So that really, made things a little difficult, for us. So that made things a little bit, really stressful. And so when I would have conversations in high school, I can remember, having these conversations, middle school, high school. What would ultimately happen is I would be talking about dreams, or I'd be talking about, well, when I grow up, I'm going to be this and I'm that. And then somebody would always want to give you a reality check. Well, do you understand what your circumstances are? Do you understand where you live? Do you understand, that that's not for us? You need to be happy, if you can pay your bills, right? You have God. That's all you need. You don't need money. You don't need. And I'll be like, well, last time I checked, when you got that eviction notice on the door, they're looking for some money, And so
that sounds like to me, you're saying that the folk are really telling you that you're getting out of this box we got you in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting out of your place and you need to get back in the box. That's how crabs do it, right? Crabs won't let each other out of the box, right?
Exactly.
And so that's the mindset that we're dealing with, is that crab in a basket mindset, and they want you to fit this box. And when you refuse to fit in the box, then something's wrong with you. Mm-hmm. But I'm just confused. I know I sometimes I examine myself about the urgency that people feel. It's not urgent. I was talking to Dr. Bywood, my new friend, and she said, it's tough being rich, but it's tougher being poor.
Much tougher.
Terrible being poor.
Much tougher.
And so that urgency to get out of that situation, or we just, like Israel, just comfortable being slaves, comfortable being subservient, and we've adjusted, and our mindset won't allow us to move forward and move out of that situation. Dr. Bywood, were you still there?
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Let me let Dr.
So
Bywood.
I think we may be on the same page here, Ms. Dyer. because I have an assistant who monitors all of my chats during our radio broadcast. And so 10,743 people text me and said, don't answer his question without addressing the fact that he said new friend and she. Come on now. You don't just drop that on a radio show.
Payback.
Thank you. You don't just drop that because Encyclopedia Brown is going to see right through that.
I saw that flew over your head, Doc.
Come on now. So we give honor to the new friend and her impact on your life. So it's a really good point, Bishop, because we have to think about the fact that the way in which people view this topic and the way in which people are navigating through their life, there's so many concepts that are coming up. And one of them is this: judgment shall be mine, saith the Lord. And I really love the way in which all four of us are responding to what people aren't doing by simply saying that we're going to do more of the right thing. We're going to do more of what is correct. And that again is why I love the spirit of this movement, because we're not doing something with the expectation of getting something in return. I remember the other day when we were having our training call, either Miss Dyer or Miss Anderson, I apologize for not recalling, made the comment that membership has its privileges. So that's beautiful. We're letting you know that if you're a member, there are perks. But in the same conversation, we're saying, we don't care if you're a member. We're going to love you anyway. We're going to serve you anyway. So I just love the way in which we come with this unconditional commitment to building the kingdom, to doing what's right, to being Christ-like. Because when you do that, success will be yours, success will belong to others. And as Mr. Rogers said, no matter where someone is in their maturation process, you still can get them what they need, and that could help them get there. It may be the next person that gets the benefit of them feeling comfortable walking in their thankfulness. But us acknowledging it and doing it in a non-judgmental way is a beautiful thing that gives me pride.
Absolutely. I can remember, when good things happen with me, I like to share it with other people. And I can remember about a year or so ago, trying to put together all the principles, three principles that Ms. Dyer was sharing with us. And I accidentally stayed in a trade for overnight. And when I turned the computer back on, I saw that I had made like almost $2,000 accidentally.
I love it.
And I had to call some people and share it with them. And I called my nephew up here in South Carolina and I shared it with him. And I think he joined after that. But it was just, I just had to tell somebody, look, well, I accidentally made some money. And y'all out there trying to make money. You can't make money on purpose. And so, and so I guess, when you're anointed for wealth, God blesses you in that manner. But it was just absolutely amazing. And so when something good like this happens, I'm just wondering how it is that you just don't have that urgency to tell somebody about this source, because what I make doesn't impact what you make, because there's trillions of dollars out there for all.
Uh-oh, you muted. You muted.
I muted myself. Okay, I'm back. And so it's trillions of dollars out there for us to dip our cup in. And so my accidentally making $2,000 didn't impact what anyone else make, because it's just the system is designed for somebody to make the money because it's there. And so, I mean, why not tell somebody? I can understand if you had some money hid around the corner, you want anybody to go look in your bag, but this money is out there and it's available. Why not tell somebody?
The only thing that I can think of, the only thing that actually makes sense to me is if I go back to my personal experience, and it doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna just give an example because I want to help somebody shift past this mindset. When I began to have a certain level of success, after I left home and moved and did some things, and I will call back, you're excited because, the first time, this little things like the first time you can pay your bills when they're due is exciting if you never had money before, those little things are exciting. And so when you would actually call and share, or, the first time I had the opportunity, being in the military overseas, had the opportunity to go to Paris, go on a few trips, so you would just call and share the excitement, people be like, oh, so you think you better than us. So instead of, you being excited or you feeling I'm giving you opportunity or I'm sharing something, the responses would be, you think you're better than us. So you're ashamed of where you came from now, and you're looking like, how did you get that out of what I'm sharing with you? And so the reality is, what we have to do is realize that that should not silence us, because that's that person's interpretation of their reality. And we should not allow their energy and their negativity to be placed on us. So you should continue sharing, because there's someone out there looking for opportunity. There is someone out there that is looking for a change. There is someone out there that is at their last hope, and you're giving them the answer, the solution, the clue. We have a responsibility to be that voice. We have a responsibility. If we have something, we have to be able to sow into someone else, because if haven't we talked about the laws of sowing and reaping on here? So if I'm sowing, I'm going to sow positivity in you. I'm going to sow things that can help you grow. I'm going to sow into your life. I'm going to sow the coaching, the mentorship. That's why we have the empowerment part of this movement as well. The Women Teach Forex, the BYOB Males to Men. That's that's there. So I'm going to continue to sow. Because when you sow, that's what you reap. So I'm not going to be selfish and keep it to myself. But I'm also cannot allow that person's reaction, because that's their reality, to control or dictate my life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so you just keep showing that positivity, and it will the positive will overcome the negative ultimately. Dr. I want to call him Dr. Gerald Rogers. How about that? How can we keep this stuff I accidentally made $2,000. I had to tell somebody.
Well, I think that's one of the things that when I think about what Andrew was able to do, he couldn't explain it, but he was so excited, obviously like the excitement that you had, that he wanted to go get his brother. And I think we got to get back to that place of a natural love that we have for our fellow man. And even in the midst of us fighting against our own selfish endeavors, we're only as good as the people that we're connected to. And I think even what Dr. Bythewood said, we've made it a point throughout our movement that we're going to be the best servants. We're not looking to do anything but serve people. And, nobody's going to outserve us. And I think that's everything that we've always talked about always coincides with a particular mindset. So we just have to be that adamant. We have to continually break the strongholds of the minds of people. And we just have to be the reflection of things that people want to see. And only way we're going to be able to continue this is by the grace of God, continually pray that he gives us the anointing. And we have to continually be great stewards over this movement, because it's a reality. 2 million strong, 2 million families financially educated and impacted. And we have to be willing to go against the grain and realize that we have to be in a position where those people that we come in contact with, we just have to challenge their thought process and help them unlearn some things that they become most familiar with, and realize at the end, we may not see it, we may not experience it, but I personally stand on what the word of God says, that his word will never return to him void. So sometimes we're planting the seed, sometimes we're watering the seed, but God will get the increase. And at some point, someone will get the benefit of the acknowledgement. And ultimately, we want God to be honored and glorified. So I think that's what we talk about when we're talking about being enlightened for Thanksgiving, because this season, I'm so thankful and grateful, as I look at how good God has been to me personally, looking at 2020 when I had my personal bout with COVID, and it did not impact me the way it impacted so many others. So, I think thankfulness is an attitude as well. And you have to be taught how to be thankful as well. I don't believe that it comes naturally, although it should. We have to be taught how to be thankful as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you mention that that sickness during this pandemic, it's amazing that we haven't really been more active in shouting out, "Thank you, Lord, for our healing and how you moved us past that event in our life." And so I'm really thankful to be up and back and got my almost my right mind. Some people say I'm out of my mind, but I think I got a pretty good mind, and I'm excited about what God is doing in my life right now. And so we just have to be careful to give God the praise and the honor, and be thankful for those that He's sent in our lives, because God uses people to bless us. Dr. Byfoot,
Sir.
are you still there?
Oh,
There
absolutely.
you are.
Always. And you know what? Let's use those words you just used as an analogy. Are you there? And that's really what it is. It's about always being there. The power. I did a sermon about 10 years ago called "The Power of Your Yes," because you oftentimes have no idea what types of benefits and rewards and reaping is going to occur when you just say yes. And oftentimes when we begin to think about the implications of what we're going to do, or the consequences, or the effort, that's no energy. So I have a montage that I use for these types of situations. Now, here's a little secret about Dr. Craig Bythewood. When I went to Howard University as an undergrad, I wanted to be a theater major. I wanted to be a comedy writer. And my mother talked me out of that. That's a whole different radio broadcast. So the bottom line is this. I used to study different comedy troupes. And one of the comedy troupes that I studied was a group called SCTV, or Second City Television, just like Saturday Night Live, but based in Canada. Please allow me to make this point, because I think we can get some value out of it. So one of the things that Second City Television does, and by the way, people John Candy, some other people whose name escape me. There are people who are in that we know, that movie stars. So long story short is this. One of the reasons why they were so successful for over 10 years is they had this principle. Whenever they were discussing jokes, they were discussing ideas for skits, their rule was say yes and then add or subtract things later. Say yes and then add and subtract things later. Think about that. That's the opposite of what most of us do. Normally, we think about why something won't work. We think about why it will be an issue. We think about why it will be a challenge. We think about why it's an issue. There was a customer service survey that was done that showed that 75% of people who you call professionally, no matter what you ask, say no first. So saying yes puts you in a position where you can always manage and massage the details, but that yes energy puts you in a place of being able to receive. And even though that describes the four of us, those individuals that we're exposing this to also are saying yes. You have to say yes in order to reap the benefit, in order to be in a position to accidentally make the $2,000.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, something that along those lines, you talk about take the positive approach first. We were in a hotel there in Orange Park this weekend, and I went to turn the shower on, and the shower fell apart. And so I took the pieces of metal, parts of the shower, down to the front desk, and I told the lady at the front desk, I said, the shower's not working. And she says, first thing comes out of her mouth is, well, you're not getting your money back. And I said, well, I didn't ask any money back. I just want you to know the shower wasn't working. And that was her first approach. No customer service. No, I'm sorry. I said, man, what I really would have liked was some empathy or an apology or something of that nature. I didn't ask you for any money back. And it was just amazing how she had ran and raved and went on and on. No customer service, no nothing. And so you believe me that that would not be another hotel I would visit that one again. You know, because it was just amazing how first approach was negative, and it wasn't any empathy. I'm sorry you paid all this money for this room, and it's not working. You're not getting the service you paid for. It was none of that. It was just negative all from the jump street. And so you're right, Dr. Bywood. The positive approach always. What did our parents say? You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And so it has to be the positive, and we have to be positive about what God is doing for us in this movement. We have opportunity to participate in something that was not exposed. We were not exposed to until I was 60 years old. Travel the world, been a lot of places, been in and out of universities, on faculty at universities, but nobody ever shared this information. I knew it was out there, but I didn't know how to become involved in it. And so for a reason, it was hidden in plain sight, not able to participate. And so now that I'm able to participate, it doesn't matter who the teacher is. It doesn't matter who God gave the strategy to. It doesn't matter who the visionary is. And sometimes we would go to a 5-star restaurant and not eat the food because you didn't like the way the waitress had, you didn't like the earrings she had in her ear, and so you won't eat the food. So here it is. You know, you worried about who's serving the dish versus how the dish is going to actually taste, and sometimes that keeps us from doing things because on site the lady decided to be negative to me because of what I look like versus what I had to say and the information I had to share with her. And so we can, sometimes people won't participate because they think you're operating out of your area of expertise. You should know about this. And so we won't participate.
Colleagues, may I please jump in and comment on that? So,
yes, sir.
Bishop Robinson, I really appreciate the reinforcement of the reinforcement. So think about this. I actually had planned on saying something earlier, and then Ms. Dyer made the same exact point. And it was going to be that people are their experiences. Literally, the way they see the world, the way they react, the way they view it is based on what they've experienced. So we keep asking this question, why wouldn't you share it? Or why would you not do this? But one of the reasons why people don't, and one of the reasons why people say no, is because it represents their experience. I remember in the year 2000, when I first started teaching online, one of the things that they taught us, because online classes were new in 2000, is they were saying, think about this. When a student asks you a question, it could be the 150th time that you heard that question, but it's the first time they asked. So we have to respond as if it's the first, not the 151st. So that woman who responded to you in a non-customer service way, who cost her organization business. You're right, Bishop Robinson. I'm right, Bishop Robinson. Jesus is right, Bishop Robinson. But we don't know how many negative experiences she had prior to you walking up. So it does not excuse it, but it does help us to navigate through these waters of why people do things that they do and why people don't do the things that they do. And that's why I'm so big on the Dr. B-rism that I say all the time to help us to not take things personal. And that is, people do not do and say things to you. They simply do and say things. So the beauty of this conversation is as we are thankful for serving, we can be understanding and compassionate and empathetic about why people don't, because of their experiences. It's what they know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Dyer. That is wonderful. I'm telling you that people are responding, and a lot of times, like you said, it's a matter of their past experiences, and somehow when we're in business, we got to be able to separate and divorce ourselves from my past experiences yesterday. In the words of Paul, my promise is greater than my past. Everything that happened in my past is over. My victory is in my future, and I can't allow my past to impact or to sabotage my future. And if she had had some bad experiences from somebody who looked like me, I think that she should have learned the process of separating herself from her past and not allowing that to impact how I treat the next individual. And I think that sometimes that's something we really have to work on. I can't treat you based on the last person I had dealt with that looked like you, because I can't assume that you're the same individual, but you have that same spirit. And so you're right. That was one thing I said with the folk who were with me. I said she probably, had some difficulties in dealing with folk, and normally that's how first thing folk want to say is, "Give me some money back." And so sometimes it's just a bottle of water. I'm sorry that happened to you. We have some water here or something. Just don't throw everybody in the same boat. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people won't partner with us because of some past experience with somebody else, and they miss out on the opportunity to be their own bank. Ms. Dyer.
So there's so much in that comment you just made, but we only have 10 minutes left because, as you're sitting there talking, I think about all of the things that are going on in the world right now. And that's on both ends of the spectrum, right? It's on both ends. No matter if I look like you, if I don't look like you, we all are holding things based on something else that happened. And so right now, we really have the power to eliminate all of that. We have the power if you shift your mind and your perspective, because just using that same example, right? One of the young ladies that drove in and traveled, she had a problem with her room. And talking to the man at the desk, but his reaction was different, and if we're expecting a change or a shift, we have to have that type of reaction. His reaction was different. I think she changed rooms maybe 2 or 3 times, but his kindness, his gentleness, and she said, I can tell he was frustrated, but he never showed it. Like he never, he never expressed it, and so what she did is she offered to buy his lunch. She offered to pay for his lunch after all of that. And so that's why I say it's so much. But this is where I want to help guide and help you, because the information is hidden in plain sight. And I'm saying help our listening audience, because the information is hidden in plain sight. And if we're not willing to accept it and absorb it, then this is where it shifts, because, you might have heard this before, but if you were listening to our broadcast with the Boots to Banks, then you did hear this a little bit. But my story and my journey is when I joined the military, I was a finance soldier in Germany, handling pay, we did pay, travel, separations. We did everything out of our office, but we also had a currency exchange booth. We also had what we called a cashier cage. So we had that currency exchange in our office. And so I want you to understand the validity of what we're sharing, because nobody ever said, hey, hey, Private Dyer, hey, guess what? What you're doing, the reports that you're calculating, the money that you see the government making, you're not, you can do this for yourself. Nobody ever said that. But they allowed us to do the transactions every single day. They allowed us to do the reports, because then it was manual. All this digital stuff wasn't back then. But they allowed us to do all the reports and to do all of that every single day. And so this happened. And so what we have to do is get to a point where we're willing to accept and we're willing to look. Because I want you to think about something. We now have a branded, right? Coming soon, you cannot do any more vetting than MasterCard. We're now, have a prepaid debit card with a MasterCard logo on it. So we're now co-branded with MasterCard. This movement, right? This movement. And so understand that there was some vetting involved. Understand that there was some scrutiny involved. There was some digging involved, because they are always going to represent their brand. As a matter of fact, what do you know? Visa, MasterCard. When we swipe, is it Visa, is it MasterCard? Those are the two that's accepted everywhere. So now we have BYOB. We have a branded. Go to BYOB Movement Worldwide. Go check it out. BYOB Movement Worldwide. Go check it out. And so understand that that's what we have. And so that brings the credibility. That brings the understanding that what we're sharing with you is real. What we're sharing with you, the success people are having is real. And you actually have the opportunity to participate in this. So you want to make sure that you get involved. Take a chance on yourself. Stop living in the past. Stop living in excuses. Stop living in, the I can't and the, oh, that's not real, or stop living in that. And let's live in why not me? Why not? One of the programs I participated as a recruiting commander here, the U.S. Army commander, one of the things that I participated in was a program we always talked about. And one of the things that we would go to the high schools and we would talk to the kids. And the topic was, why not me? Why not me? So ask yourself, why not me? Instead of saying, why it won't work, it won't this. Why not me? You should be successful. You should be able to be wealthy. You should be. Why not you? Why can't it be you? Why shouldn't it be you? It should be. Why not you? And that's really what I have.
Absolutely amazing, Ms. Dyer, because the truth is that many folk will not take advantage of this because they assume that this is way above their level of what they should become. And so they never even had the idea or the thought that they were anointed for wealth. God created them to be wealthy, and God is providing a way for that to actually happen. Mr. Rogers.
Well, I just want to say that, at the end of the day, we all will continue to be the sum total of the 5 people that we, avail ourselves to, that we give energy to, that we give space to. And so we're talking about taking ownership and taking responsibility for the outcomes, because we are the sum total of everything that we consume, emotionally, physically, financially, as well as psychologically. So now that we have a road, I know for me personally, I'm the fruit of understanding that externally things may not always be in alignment. People's perception may not always be favorable. We all are consumed with thoughts and people's perceptions, and as Dr. Bythewood said, other people's experiences, they generally project them onto you. But at the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for how I respond to the external stimuli and not react to it. And when I'm not emotionally centered, then someone else is going to always be able to control me based on their perception of me. So it's very important that the enlightenment takes place, and we appreciate and we're thankful for every trial and tribulation that we face, because normally speaking, out of tribulation, out of oppression becomes greatness. And so we must be willing to die. We must be willing to be buried. And then, all things work together for the good for them that love the Lord, who are called according to your purpose. Because here we are, going through what we've been able to accomplish, and the best is yet to come, to know that our movement is now being able to brand itself with one of the premier brands in the entire globe. And now we have space, we have room, but ultimately the decision to come back is always going to be based on what's going on the inside in the hearts of mind. So that's my Thanksgiving soliloquy. I'm excited. The year of transformation, 2 million strong. We're committed to the process. We're committed to everyone's success, our listening audience. So we're thankful and grateful that truly the best is yet to come for those who are listening and allow us to lead you and guide you through this path.
Absolutely. Thank you from our visionary. What a powerful word. We want to just give Ms. Dyer we got 1 minute left, Ms. Dyer. Can you tell people how to contact and connect with us?
Yes, and I'm trying to pull something up and it's not working. Oh my gosh. I wanted to share something with you. We'll see if I can get it, if I can share for our audience, which I think is freezing me up. But it's funny that you guys were talking about a hotel. I'm gonna just let it be. It's funny that you all were talking about a hotel, because the reality is happy holidays from BYOB, right? Happy holidays from BYOB. So for everyone that says I'm worth it, for everyone that says I deserve it and I operate in success, then what we're doing with BYOB is you're gonna get a voucher, a $500 hotel savings dollars, 500 hotel savings dollars courtesy of BYOB throughout this holiday season. So really, all you have to do is make a decision, because you have 2 years to use this, okay? You have 2 years, so we're gonna give you that voucher. So you're really saying yes to yourself. And then you wanna register for your prepaid card. That's definitely something you wanna do. So you wanna get on the wait list so you can get the information as soon as it comes out. So go to BYOB Movement Worldwide. Go to that website, BYOB Movement Worldwide. Go to the website and make sure you sign up for the wait list. Just press prepaid debit card, okay? So with that, contact us, BYOB. Text B to 55469. BYOB to 55469. BYOBmovementllc.com. Visit our website, and then our YouTube channel, BYOB, our Facebook page, BYOB Movement Worldwide. Find us on social media. We're streaming tonight at 9 p.m. You want to know a little bit more about this movement, a little bit more about what we offer, make sure you show up. Make sure you show up. Send us a message through Facebook, through YouTube. Send us a message on the website. We'll be in touch, but show up so you can find out exactly what's happening this evening. So with that, we love you. BYOB to 55469. Yes, BYOB to 55469. And we, ladies and gentlemen, will see you tonight at 9 p.m. BYOB Movement Worldwide on YouTube. Go find us on Facebook. Go find us. We're there. Send us a message and we'll help you become your own bank. We love you all, and we'll see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving and happy birthday, Bishop.
Thank you.
And I can't stop the stream.
After all of that, and you're going to talk about what you can't do?
I can't stop the stream. We still on live. I'm telling y'all that. I can't stop it.
Well, I'm just going to leave. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday, Bishop Robinson.
Thank you. Bye-bye.